Hello, everyone. That was some animal dancing as usual to start us off. Sorry, I'm running a little bit behind. Also, hair reveal. This is the official freshened up hair. I refreshed my pink. It's blown out. It's different. Sorry for the sudden change. But I'm excited to be here. The finale was today. Let me just finish posting an Instagram story that we're here, because it has been a journey. I didn't do enough of my homework before the stream, and I am scrambling a little bit, but it's okay. I think I last minute procrastinated and I got here. Okay, Instagram. Okay. It is not the best picture, but it is what it is. Welcome Zoe, welcome Meredith, welcome Diana in the chat. Yeah, so the season's over. Thank God. I think. And let's talk about the finale. Maybe I'll just give people a second. But yeah, how are y'all doing? How are y'all feeling about that ending? Definitely a surprise for me with the yes couple we got. So I didn't think it would happen. Yeah, can y'all hear me? I'm having trouble with my mic. I am like, okay. I don't know why my first few streams were really great audio-wise, and now for some reason this the last one, the game one, and this one, my mic is just so much lower. Let me just try to troubleshoot a tiny bit. Let's see. Hello, is that any better? That was a little better, I think. Okay, hold on. I can do more. Okay, I think that's better, right? Can y'all hear me? A little better? This I think is closer to those first streams. Sorry if there's like mouth sounds, but I think it's better than it being too low. Cause the gaming stream, I rewatched it and I was like, this is way low. I hate it. Okay, a little better. Okay, good. Cool. Well, I'll try to speak like a normal video as well. Okay. I'm glad I fixed that. I just, OBS, the tech to set these things up, y'all have no idea. Or maybe you do if you do this, but my screen looks like a freaking command center right now. Cool. Better. I'm glad we fixed that early on. Okay. So welcome on in, everybody. Welcome to the official season 5 support group for Love is Blind. I feel like after the season we need more of a support group situation than like a finale party, to be honest. But yeah, the hair is really fun. I'm excited. I'm sure y'all were wondering why I had let it fade out so much. Partially just didn't feel like keeping it up, but also I knew I had my hair appointment coming up to refresh it, and I just prefer to have a more blank canvas. So excited. Okay, so welcome. Let's go ahead and talk about the Love is Blind 5 season finale. All right, we got an intro. Okay, yeah, so I watched the finale this morning, real early. I get up bright and early for these. And it's sad. I mean, it's fine. Like, the finale episode is always such a, like, it's just outcomes for the most part. There's not really any big moments that happen, I feel like. So I get distracted by the chat. Y'all are so nice. So yeah, the season has been rough. I've seen some people in my comments last video defending the season. Like, a couple people do like it. Some people just love mess, I think, and they're into it. But I think for me and for a lot of us, it's been a rough season, and it makes me so sad because it's a Texas season. On the Reddit, I've been seeing so many people be like, no more Texas seasons ever, please, because these Texas bitches are horrible or fake or whatever. And I feel so sad because I live in Texas, so that's embarrassing for us. But there's also so many like Republicans here, and so like I get it, and there's a lot to criticize about the state. I was just born and raised here, so that's that's why. But yeah, sad. Maybe they're right. Maybe no more Texas seasons. Also, there's also a lot of behind the scenes stuff, which we'll get into a little bit towards the end. But yeah, like, and I'm also kind of annoyed that the finale and reunion are separate but close together. Like, just make the reunion and finale tonight or something. If y'all don't know, the reunion is going to be on Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. for me. And it's going to be kind of like what a YouTube premiere is, that vibe, but on Netflix, just like a pre-recorded but live premiere. It's basically just reinventing regular TV on Netflix. So that's the reunion. And I was like, damn it, I wish it was just all in one night so we could talk about it all, but I'll just stream again that night. I'll probably just watch it on stream, like myself on mute or something, if y'all want to watch along the first hour, but I'll just stay streaming once it ends and discuss it. That's kind of like the general game plan. I had put it in my community tab on my YouTube channel. So exciting. Yeah, welcome everybody that's just joining. And yeah, some people from Texas really agree. No more Texas. I do think we're gonna have an Austin one at some point. I don't know if it's like cast or recorded already, but that'll be interesting. I feel like maybe, yeah, Austin could redeem it. Maybe not. I don't want to oversell it, because season 1 of Ultimatum was in Austin and it was just as messy as anything else. So I'm sure they're gonna do Austin though. Again, they've done it with Ultimatum and it's like a hip city. I think they're doing Austin for Married at First Sight or Love is Blind. Yeah, wasn't there something that there was like cameras in Austin or something and we don't know why? Maybe I'm imagining that. But yeah, okay. So there's a Love is Blind Sweden. Oh, yeah, speaking of future releases, I hadn't heard about Love is Blind Sweden, but I know Love is Blind UK is coming, and I think it's in early 2024, so I think I will cover that myself. That seems like one that will be popular and maybe people will be into. Maybe it'll be refreshing, maybe it'll be different, so we shall see on that one, but I think it's early next year. But yeah, they have a million of these going. Like, I think, wasn't Charlotte one? And I always see like there was like a casting call for Denver. There's been a million casting calls, so we're gonna get every city at some point. Okay, so the way I want to run this, I have a PowerPoint, so if you happen to see my bottoms stream, kind of like that, kind of class presentation a little bit, but it's just because we can't really play videos, so I just have some screen caps from the finale episode and other random photos. But yeah, let's do that. Oh, okay, that's the one. Okay, this is the PowerPoint view of it all. Let me move this chat. Okay. Cool. Well, welcome. Okay, let me start with the disclaimer though. I always been forgetting. In part 3, I forgot to do it completely. But just remember, this is just a TV show. I mean, everyone in here seems pretty chill, but you know, we're watching edited versions of these people. We don't know how they are in real life, and when we're criticizing, we're just criticizing what we saw on the show. It is what it is. I don't think it reflects like the whole person or people behind it, and no need to send social media hate or anything, because I think people just take it so serious, and it's like, it's just a TV show. It's just for entertainment. It's messy. Let's just enjoy it. Even though there are some darker things going on with this season that we'll cover, and I'll give a little warning when that's coming up, but I think it's no need to take it too serious. A lot of these people are so messy that it's hard. It's hard. And talking to myself too, because at some point I'm sure we'll talk about JP and I'll get heated, but yeah. Okay, so we're starting with our first couple as usual this series, and that is Stacy and Izzy. And as I go along, I'm gonna go through every couple / like contestants later on at the end that didn't make it to the altar. But as we're on a section of a couple, feel free to chime in the chat. Maybe I'll do a poll situation here and there. I think that might be fun so that y'all can participate. I love polls. I wish I could do them all the time, but I don't have like a following to do random polls for things. So yeah, Izzy and Stacy, one of our 2 couples that made it to the altar. And yeah, they've had quite a journey. I'm glad they were a no. Oh, sorry. Spoiler alert for the finale. They were a no. And I'm glad because it's for the best. It's for the best. They didn't seem like a good match. They both had their flaws. And let's get into it. So starting from like getting ready for wedding day, something I hadn't touched on yet was Stacy's makeup. And it's been kind of like a hot topic on the Reddit and stuff. But it's like her makeup has been a little rough through the season. And I'm trying to give her some grace because I feel like there's like no more humbling experience than being on TV and seeing yourself from every angle. So I am like 99% sure when she watches this back, or as she's watched it back, she is reevaluating her entire makeup routine. So it's hard. Like, I feel like I'm not trying to be too hard on her. The makeup, the contour was intense all season, and she looked great because here you see she's getting made up by a makeup artist, and her makeup did look great for wedding day. So maybe she took notes and will recall. And also she like does a bunch of jobs apparently on social media, and one of them is makeup artist, and that's when I started getting a little concerned. But again, I think she will be humbled by watching this back. Okay, so the first moment that was already messy. She was like talking about Izzy, and like his name is Ismael, and she's like, oh, he's so exotic, he's so hot, he's a chunk of meat. And it was just like, whoa. I was not expecting all that, and it is cringe, it is ick. She's just like exoticizing him when he's not even like that particularly exotic looking. The most odd thing about him is him being bald, I feel like. So that was odd. But he has his issues that come back at the end. Okay, and then this was like one of the quotes of the episode, and I think I'm already going to start. I'm going to make a poll. How do I make a poll? I'm going to make a poll. Love wants to fly first class or has no credit score. What team are you? Because it was so funny to see like the contrasting statements of Love has no credit score versus Love wants to fly first class. And I'm curious what y'all are thinking. It was just funny. Izzy said this to his like buddies at the table. Also, am I talking about this yet? No, not yet. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, so it was just funny, the contract. He's like, Love has no price tag. Love, has no timelines. All these things, when it's like, I don't think you're the one that should be saying this. And I was kind of turned off by like Stacy still being like elitist. Like Izzy has his issues, but she was just like, again, talking about that he just got his passport, his favorite restaurant's Chipotle, and like just being very like she's better than him. And I just didn't like that through the whole season from Stacy. So I don't know. I didn't like that. I didn't like her comments in general. And yeah. Izzy is giving broke. Correct, Nicole. Yeah, it was funny that he can't be talking about credit scores. I'm sorry. Okay, let's talk about that. Okay. So a lot of people were pointing it out, but I wanted to get some screenshots of it, and they are just so there's been a few lawsuits against Love is Blind in the recent year or months or whatever, and some of the allegations involve like they don't feed the contestants, and now in this season they are just showing an excessive amount of food where everyone is. Like, this shot to me was just so funny. There's like croissants, there's donuts, there's fruit, there's charcuterie, there's like every kind of food for like 2 people. So it's just interesting how they're really trying to beat the allegations, quite literally, of not feeding the contestants. And here's another one where Izzy's like, it's like an interview of Izzy, and like I was like, is the food the main character? Because I was just looking at the food. So very interesting, the subliminal kind of messaging they're trying to give there, and like sort of overcome that reputation. Okay, let's see. Some of y'all are giving good comments here. See, a lot of people view Izzy, like, I knew Izzy and Stacy were gonna be this like very polarizing thing, or very like based on preference type of couple with like their finance situation, and the plates too. That was like a very just a matter of preference which team you were on, like about the plates, about the finances. Like, a lot of people are thinking Izzy is after Stacy for her money. I was also kind of unclear if like it wasn't clear. A lot of people were kind of talking in my comments about like, oh, is he's getting like a free house, so it's only fair he pays for all of the dinners. But I took it as like, oh no, he's paying 50% of the mortgage, like half the AC, and dinners. And I think that one's up for interpretation, because they didn't like say it explicitly, and like who would pay the mortgage. We really need like the full spreadsheet to judge. But yeah, I feel like the finances thing, a lot of people think Izzy is like looking at Stacy like a step, like not a sugar mother or anything, but him being broke and after her. Yeah, see, no respect for Izzy ever since the Lost and Found. The Lost and Found was also a very polarizing thing. I just didn't find it that strange between them. Did I talked about that already, right? Yeah, Izzy's like in the scene, or one of the scenes with the boys, where he was like shaking, like so nervous, but he was saying yeah, so I don't know why he was that nervous. Maybe because he knew she might not be in money problems. It's unclear if in the pods he knew she was rich, because I don't recall. If y'all recall, type it in, but I'm not sure if she alluded to that in the pods. He didn't talk about the credit score for sure. We know that. And yeah, hiding the credit score, I think, was very shady. And I think she mentioned a few times it's why she said no. And I think that's good. Like, her mom was like, don't ignore red flags. And she was like, yeah, okay. we're gonna get to the comments in the post wedding. We definitely are. Okay, first let's talk about like this letter, and no need to get too into it. He like rallied all the boys to write this, poem letter thing to Stacy, and I thought it was gonna be all sentimental, and they're over here like, oh, from the heart, speak from the heart, all these things, and then the letter comes and it is this: want to glue my hands on your boobs like a pasty. Oh god. And what gagged me was like everyone was like crying and emotional over it, and I'm like, I guess there was like sweet stuff in the end or whatever, but like it was just funny that like, oh, she was like, oh, that means so much to me. Okay, so we get to the wedding, and we'll get there. And Izzy says I do first. He's presented the opportunity. A lot of people speculating he might want some of that cash. And then Stacy says no, though it's probably like the most like amicable no we've seen, because she makes it pretty clear she wants to keep a relationship going. She just needs more time. And then it's very strange. He like kisses her after this. I think he just hadn't processed exactly what happened, because after this, he was not trying to kiss her or be with her at all. So he processes it. He is a lot more upset after the wedding. I don't know if y'all can confirm for me, like, did y'all think he was drunk by that point? Was he slurring? Because I watched it like at faster speed, and it's harder for me to tell. I'm not sure. The one sweet moment was like his mom, who was a gem the whole time. She gave a really supportive speech, and just like kind of summarized the pain of being a mother and the pain of seeing your child in pain, but knowing they'll be okay, or she used like a vaccine metaphor for it, but it was really sweet, and she was so adorable and nice. Okay, so they talk it out after, and Stacy makes it clear again here that she wants a relationship, she wants to keep it going, and like she just kind of wants to go back to how they were, it seems like. But Izzy at this point is not having it, and is like, we're going backwards now, and when is it ever going to be the right time? And he's acting like they've been together 10 years or something, and she's been avoiding marriage. Like, this is the kind of statement that's like on the ultimatum when people have been together like 8 years and are just kind of like dragging their feet on getting married. And they've like been together a month. It's not that crazy to like want more time. I do think it's like, why'd you sign up for this show if you want more time? But it's because Izzy lost all this trust with the credit score thing. And that's why, like, that's why she wanted more time. He did, yeah, before he walked down the aisle, he asked 2 people at the door for a drink. He wanted a drink. Yeah, I'm just reading y'all's chats. That's what. Yeah, a lot of people saying he's trying to get out of debt. Yeah, maybe Izzy is like, well, he was trying to be the ultimate scammer, but failed. And he just like rejects being in a relationship. He says then it starts getting really bad on his part. Like, I feel like her like questionable statements were at the beginning of like the wedding prep day and stuff, and I didn't like that. But then he like really let loose at the end of their wedding segment. Like, he says he like looked past all the looks, the money, and the drama. And it was just such a strange statement, because I feel like it's either implying he didn't like Stacy's looks, like he looked past her looks, as in like, I got over it, or I don't know, it was just a weird implication. And then look past the money. He's not the one having to look past money. Like, she's the one having to look past his money problems to be with him, and she couldn't because they're significant. So, and then the drama, I don't know, whatever. But it was just starting off. And then this is where I was like, is he drunk? Because what? So he was at the gym and he saw Titanic on the gym TV. And that's what he pictures love to be. And it's like, what? Where did that come from? Also, like, is it because Rose is rich and Jack is poor? Like, was that the parallel? Or, I don't know. It's also like a tragic, it's like the people that are like, let's be like Romeo and Juliet. It's like, did you watch the ending? It's not great. I mean, I don't know. It's also like teenager. I did not. It was just so random, and I felt like that was maybe like a maybe more drunky statement, but I'm not sure. He wanted to be. He forgot Jack dies. Yeah. It just like, okay, and then he gets toxic, and he's like, you know, does the car drive matter? You know, talking about these superficial things that kind of got in the way of them sometimes. But then this was the statement that was like where his like ego came out that we've been talking about, the fragile ego, and it's not good. And it's sad because it seemed like he was trying to take it, but now like that's the real truth, and that's how he really feels probably. Why are you 33 and single and not married? And he's like, I'm 29, and it's like, you're not that different. First of all, young people love to think they will never be there, they'll never be that. But yeah, so very toxic, very like putting her down. I mean, yeah, she rejected him, but she was also very like open, a relationship. She still loved him. She didn't like blindside him, I don't feel like. I mean, maybe she did. I never know with these couples because they're always like, we're our wedding and we're saying yes, but then they say no, and I'm like, wait, what was all that then? Like the stuff before where you kept talking about being married. I don't know. The show's just weird in that way, but I don't think he was blindsided, honestly. I mean, she was very kind about it, and she was kind of unfazed on her end. I didn't have a screenshot of that, but she's like, I feel fine. Well, he was more of a mess and emotional and stuff, but it makes sense for who said yes, who said no. And yeah, you know, if he turns 33, they're gonna meme this at him, or like just send him this without being married. If he turns 33 without being married, he's gonna, I don't know. Yeah, see, he's 29 and he can give you everything that a rich 45-year-old man could, which is like, no, you can't though. You can't. You've said you're broke. You have a bad credit score. You can't pay for dinners or don't want to. And those men could, I guess. Like, that's just a lie. Also, like, should I say spoilers? Sort of. I mean, from the beginning, there's been rumors that Izzy is on. Actually, it doesn't matter, right? Because he said no. They said no. But I think they say he's on Perfect Match. I've heard that. I don't know how substantial that rumor is, but I think he's on that show. That it's a show that's like the all-stars of Netflix dating shows. So that was spoiled for me a long time ago, like before the season even aired. And it's why I was like, you know, he has a career in this. But I didn't want to spoil it either, because I just accidentally get spoiled because I'm on the Reddit and stuff. And yeah, final thoughts. Let me look through y'all's chat. Is love blindsided? That's what it feels like every wedding. I agree. I will label. And okay, yeah. So let's talk any big moments we haven't hit on Stacy and Izzy before we move on. A lot of theories about Izzy living in an Airbnb. I believe it because the live, laugh, love thing was so random. And yeah, it did look like he was kind of a fuckboy. It's strange why he would have such a neat and decorated apartment. We've seen like a lot of the men's apartments, and it's very bachelor pad, and his wasn't. I think he'll have a good influencer career. I just think he's good on camera. Like, he looks good on camera. And, like, being a fuckboy doesn't necessarily hinder. I feel like there's, like, a market for that. So I feel like if he plays his cards right, maybe he could even, like, have some redemption arc he orchestrates for himself somehow. But I'm thinking, like, Harry Jowsey, if y'all know him, he's on Too Hot to Handle. And he's on Dancing with the Stars right now. He became kind of a big influencer, and he's not like a beacon of morality in any sense. I think he got canceled even at some point. But yeah, I think, and she is also capitalizing a lot. I see she's like trying to come out with merch now with the first class line from the dad. And I feel like she's also, I don't know, her job is very confusing. I see a lot of stuff on Reddit about, does she work for her dad's company, or, you know, do Pilates, or sell, you know, sweatshirts or something. So I think she's just someone that does a lot of passion projects and has a father who can fund that for her, or help her at least with it. Miranda says, the term unconditional love is also a good topic. What does that even mean in a couple? I only associate it with the love of a parent for their children. That's true. I associate it with that as well. And I feel like with these shows, it's always a lot of word salad of like buzzwords related to love. And it just feels like, what? What does that even mean in day-to-day life? And they try to define love, and is love blind, blah blah blah, and it's like, I don't know, love is not this glamorous all the time, or I don't really know. Maybe I'm not the most romantic person to be asking. And yeah, Hobby Lobby apartment. Oh, y'all can see me scrolling. Wow. I keep changing the chat format on here. I think, yeah, the finances are like a hard thing for couples, because I do feel like she needed someone in her tax bracket. Someone mentioned the tax bracket. Like, I guess you can make it work if you're in Titanic. Oh my god, my light died. Well, I forgot you're supposed to charge that light. Let me see. I don't think it's that big a deal. I'll brighten up this other one. Sorry, I'm going to be a little pinker this time. I also heard that Cole and Zenab, Love is Blind Season 3, will be on Perfect Match. Yeah, a lot of the wild... I mean, I guess Cole had his redemption arc, so he's not wild anymore. But that show is just so, like, I've talked about it. I'm not a big fan of it. It feels so, like, stage, or just for funsies, like, for exposure, like not for actual love the way these shows are. They don't have a lot of stakes, and it's all about a lot of like hot people in bikinis making out, which has its audience, but I don't find a lot of satisfaction from it. Yeah, finances are the number one issue in marriages. It makes sense. She didn't choose him. Yeah, I felt like she was not gonna let the money issues go. And it's fair enough. Like, she's protecting her wealth that she is inheriting. Like, I don't know. That's her prerogative. And he was being shady, so she had plenty of good reason. He had his own red flags. So it wasn't just her being... Because I do think she's elitist in how she talks about him and stuff. But, you know, he had his own red flags. The only way dating... Has there been any successful couples from Perfect Match? Y'all tell me. I don't think so. I feel like that one's just for funsies. And yeah, Airbnbs are common in reality TV, even in freaking like House Hunters and those. Like, it's a lot of... You'd be surprised what production companies are willing to pay for just to make it easier to shoot. Like, they save money, I guess, in the long run, or if they have full reign of the space, it's just easier. Yeah, big difference between Cole's toilet, the dirty toilet, and Izzy's Live, Laugh, Love, Hobby Lobby, Airbnb. Yeah, Perfect Match, I guess it's just a dating show. Yeah, it's not super focused on the falling in love. To each their own. Y'all need to fill me in if there's a good season or interesting things happen, because I'm not really watching the full episodes. Okay, let's move on to our next couple, Milton and Lydia. I always have less to say about them. Let's end the poll, actually. We had a quarter saying love has no credit score, and 76% want to fly first class. I understand. That's so funny. It was just such a good quote. It's definitely going to live on as like the quote of the season, of Stacy's dad. Yeah, 35. There's the financial thing is shady. I don't think we know a lot of the story on Izzy's finances. Cool. Oh, we got a good amount of votes. Thanks all for voting. We need to think of a poll for Milton. Actually, I do have some polls in mind for them. So Milton and Lydia, I always have less to say about them. I feel like just because their issues are always like the same things, and there was just not that many moments with them. I don't know. I think Lydia's just good at like selling herself, so she always like made a good impression on people. But then when they would fight, she would get toxic. I don't know. Okay, so we get to their wedding day. She does talk a little bit about that last fight we left them off at, which is where Milton talked about how she handled the Uche situation and that it was too emotional. And that she said they talked it out and he saw where she was coming from and they resolved that, and that she is not going to change. And yeah, I do think, Nicole just said it in the chat, like Lydia's, like the way the theme for Lydia on her wedding day is that she would have married anyone. And I very much agree. I feel like she just wanted marriage. I feel like every time she was talking about Milton, she wasn't talking about Milton. She was just talking about how he loves her. So like nothing specific to Milton or about Milton that she likes. Anything that got specific were things she didn't like. Like, you're a nerd, the Pokemon stuff, whatever, cringe, or like you don't pick up your plate and things like that. But when it's good things, it's just like, he loves me. He hugs me. That kind of stuff, when it's like, hello, where's so they cleared up the emotional stuff. She's not going to change, which is kind of what I was saying in part 3. I mean, I don't know. Lydia's so hard because I don't know. She just like kind of, I don't remember in the Uche fight, did she like stoop very low with him? I feel like she yelled a lot, but like she didn't get nasty with him. She even like tried to protect him about him cheating on her. Like she didn't say it in the moment with him, but she did say it behind his back to the cameras and to the girls. So I don't know, whatever. I think Milton and Lydia just handle conflict very differently, and that's why I didn't think they would get together. Poll. I have a, what is the poll I had thought of for these? Oh, I have a serious poll for Lydia that I'm very curious what y'all think. I want to know. Sorry, this one's less fun than the last poll, but do y'all actually think Lydia came onto Love is Blind for a second chance with Uche? What do y'all think? How do I word this? Lydia apply for a... Because I feel like this one's very like up in the air. Okay, I'm very curious what y'all think about that one. So we'll have that going while we talk about the wedding day. I thought it was just random that Milton had like a night shift the day before his wedding. Like truly 24-year-old stage of your career where you can't take PTO, I guess. I was also kind of feeling like he was talking about these uneasy feelings, that he's not 100% because math, so science, there's no 100% in things. But I was kind of like, oh, does this mean he's saying no? I thought he was going to say no based on this kind of like hint. So I was surprised when he didn't say no. Again, he was like dropping a bunch of stuff, being really goofy with the guys, but that's not the point of this. Again, the food. I was just like looking at all that food. He did use his PTO for the pods, which is so real. Like, I'm like, how do all these people, I mean, a lot of them I feel like are just influencers or whatever. I don't know what they do that they can take that much PTO. So, yeah, this encompasses the Lydia thing of, like, she was just talking about, like, he's all my prayers, love of my life. All of this is very generic statements that if we didn't know who the husband was, we would know nothing about him. Let me read some of y'all's chats. Oh, she said in the ceremony, I fell in love with you when you chose me. Dang, that's a good one to quote. And yeah, I still remember in the pod, she was like begging for that proposal. And that's why I didn't think this couple would make it. Yeah. Diana says, I think they were both trying to prove something, and that's why they said yes. Milton's dad was trying to have the heart-to-heart. I have this. Oh, yeah. Milton talked to the dad. The dad was, I mean, his family was pretty supportive in that they at least showed up and seemed fine. We didn't see a lot of the mom or sister. We just saw him talk to the dad. And yeah, you can tell these like older adults in his life see like the dangers of all this. But I thought it was funny also. He said like, "You ready to be the head priest of your house?" I was like, that's a new one. I had never heard that one personally. It's like new brand of patriarchy unlocked. But no, I mean, it's fine. The dad was all well-intentioned and very supportive, given that they can kind of tell, you know, this is a risky decision. Milton gives INTJ. That's so funny. He does. He's so nerd. The poll was hard. Oh, sorry. I should have added I should have added an extra option that was like somewhere in between. I don't know. Yeah. We'll talk about the poll in a bit when we finish up. Okay, so we got to the wedding. I like that her mom walked her down the aisle. I thought that was really sweet. I always like when I feel like I always point out or talk about whenever there's like an unconventional thing about these weddings, because there's so much conventional stuff in weddings that I love seeing. Just like, you know, see a mom walk her down the aisle, because that's who is her parental figure. So we get to the wedding. It all goes as planned, and they both say "I do," much to my surprise. I was shocked. I was gagged. I was like, because of course Lydia said yes first, and I was like, of course, you know, she's like obsessed with getting married. But then Milton said yes, and I was like, wait, what? That's not what I was expecting. So yeah, he like jumps the gun, kissing her. Then they finish the ceremony, and then he kisses her. And they're happy, I guess. At the end though, this comes in. This is like at the very, very end, where he talks about her English, and it's something I haven't touched on yet in other parts, but I've noticed throughout. That's like one of the things he makes fun of her for. It's so hard with this couple because they are so like their whole dynamic is just like teasing each other, and even about stuff that seems like not appropriate to tease each other about, like her talking about his face, him always talking about her English and her degrees, or like questioning like her degrees or something. It's weird because she like consents to it, so I'm like she laughs along and he laughs along too the other way. That's just kind of their dynamic. Also she like, I don't know, she brands herself in this way of like a spicy Latina and all that, and I don't particularly like that because I'm Latina and I don't feel like spicy, you know, describes me very well. But I don't know, she just, they both seem to consent to this kind of like teasing, even if it's for something they can't help. And also it feels kind of like Gen Z on his part, where they're very blunt. It's an interesting thing I was noticing with him, and like some people are really turned off by that, and I get it. But if she consents, I'm like, I don't know. Oh, interesting. Digita says reason they filmed in Texas was to not deal with COVID-related restrictions. I hadn't heard that, but it's interesting if so. We did not have a lot of restrictions here. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of places though that didn't have like, where's the Florida season? I'm scared actually for if they ever do a Florida season. No shade to Florida, but I feel like they're the only state that can out Texas us. Yeah, and yeah, in the proposal he talked about like, be my Puerto Rican wife. It just feels like what's that called? Like he's like tokenizing her, but she also like plays along with being tokenized. Is that the right word? I'm not sure. But yeah, it's very similar to the Stacy calling Izzy exotic. I guess the only difference is that she's not saying it to his face. I wonder how he would react and if he would care. We don't know. That's true. Yeah, I mean, it's besides the point, but Lydia's English is very fluent. Like, I don't think she's hard to understand, but I mean, I also, probably everyone in my family has an accent. But yeah, it's a little strange. It's a little exoticizing kind of thing, and it's interesting. It was kind of like Milton's red flag when otherwise he came off pretty okay the whole season, aside from that pattern. Yeah, big moments. Let's look at the poll. The poll is divided 50-50. Y'all, this is funny. That's how I feel too. Yeah, I should have given that third option of like, she did but found happiness. I don't know, but like, did Lydia apply for a second chance with Uche? I feel like there's evidence there that's probably why she applied. Fetishizing, that's a good word for, instead of tokenizing. Yeah, like the Uche stuff. So I do believe the evidence of she was making weird comments when she came in of like, maybe I'll run into somebody, and she proposed to him like, let's give it a second chance. Those are the only two indications of like, maybe she was hoping for something. But I think some people in the chat were saying like, you believe Lydia came in to maybe see something with Uche, but also test other relationships, and she ended up finding something with Milton and is over Uche. I do think she's over Uche. Like, she did not seem to care about him in like a romantic way or want to get him back once she was engaged to Milton. Because she just wants someone that wants to marry her, I feel like, and Uche didn't. So she wants the guy that wants to marry her. Yeah, that was another thing with the Milton thing, that he didn't believe in her hyphenating her last name. I wasn't sure if that was like a joke, because it was kind of like in a JK, or he was like laughing when he said it. But yeah, that's another way of like, I don't know, he like doesn't believe in that. It's like, it should be her choice. It's her name. Yeah, maybe Kim, maybe we'll get some explanations at the reunion about the Lydia Uche stuff. I wonder when they filmed. Does anyone know when they filmed the reunion? Because it's not live. We know that. And I feel like usually on Reddit, I see like all these photos the cast post when they filmed the reunion. And I didn't see any of that this time. So I'm not sure what the timeline was on the reunion. Because I worry if the reunion was filmed too long ago, like, we won't get any up-to-date information. That's always, I feel like, what happens. That's why we were excited for a live reunion last time. But it didn't quite work out. And it was funny, in the teaser for the reunion, they like crossed out live. They were like, make sure we're not doing live. Any last thoughts on Lydia and Milton before we move on? I mean, there are one success story. I wish them the best. I don't know if it's out there. I don't know myself if it's out there that they're still together or not. I don't know. I guess don't spoil it. I don't know. It's just the reunion coming up. So I'm not like that worried about spoilers is the point. His family gives off evangelical Christian vibes. The head priest comment, yeah, I feel like it's telling. I wonder if they're still together. I mean, don't tell me, I guess. I'm like, do I want to know? I don't know. I want to do one more poll real quick. I'm just making polls all around. Like, how do y'all feel about Milton? Like, given, because he's one of the most liked I've seen of the season, but I'm not sure. Yeah. Um, okay, I try to give more options that time. Yeah, we'll be here. I'll be here for the reunion. I'll get my light working. Yeah, I feel like Milton had a lot of good moments. He reassured Lydia a lot. And she was always talking about how much he would reassure her, like, all the time, like, kind of off-camera type stuff. And she would really liked that and said she'd never been treated so well. So she likes him. He just has his moments. I also think he's young. I don't know. Not to excuse him completely because he's an adult, but I feel like he's so young. 24 sounds so young to me now, but I was once 24. Yeah, I agree. He's too young in comparison to the rest of the cast. Love is Blind skews around 30s, around 30. And yeah, I just feel like, what's the rush, man? It's okay. It just feels like, yeah, he's trying to prove himself to be a grown-up. That's how it felt like with his family a lot. But yeah, as far as moments go, I feel like they didn't have any, like, really stand out specific moments to them. Like, yeah, they had their fight at the geology exhibit. And oh yeah, the wine bottle. That was a moment. The opening the wine with his teeth. Yeah, I'm just overall shocked. They went through with it. They just didn't seem very compatible. Yeah, he's mature in a lot of ways, like the way he handles conflict, but immature in the way he, like, keeps his space or, you know, lives with his roommate and he bros out with the guys, which I think guys do kind of at any age, but he was very, very bro-y with the boys. It's just hard. The bar is low for the men this season, unfortunately. Okay, poll is pretty divided. People like him, 38%, 34% are indifferent, 7% are ick, 20% are unsure. Yeah, that's kind of, I feel that way too. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about Milton. I mean, in comparison, Milton was giving AI. He was giving math metaphors of what he was doing. I guess that was his memorable thing. He was always had a math metaphor for everything. He confused Uche, which was good, but everything had a mathematical explanation. And it's like, I remember when I was in engineering school, that sounds like a flex, but I hated it. Don't worry. That's how, like, every guy was in engineering school. Like, thinking, like, trying to say math and science are so cool. And I don't know. It was just that vibe back when I was in college. All of them trying to flex whatever they learned in the last class they took. But he is smart. He has a master's. Lydia seems smart. She has multiple degrees. Yeah, I'm interested in the reunion most of all for them and to see they're still together or what. Women in STEM, better work. Okay, so let's move on. If y'all still have Milton and Lydia chats, get them out. But let's move on and start talking about our couples that didn't make it so far. Starting with Taylor and JP. And I don't want to talk about this man very much because I hate him. And it's bizarre because there's been so many bad people on Love is Blind through the years, but I can't accept a war on glamour, and I never will. And, like, this was my face. Like, with everything he said, flag man, he's over, he's canceled. And I wish her the best, and I do feel bad. I do want to give my apology video, because in part 1, I was like, oh, you know, she's very glamorous and good looking and, like, looks like an Instagram girly. So I feel like maybe his looks won't be up to par for her, and she's gonna be like, oh, you know, we don't look great together. I prefer a more handsome man or something, like, or a more fashionable man or something. But no, it was him. She was totally accepting of his boring ass, and it wasn't fair. I was wrong completely about Taylor, and she was the opposite of vain, and she's glamorous. She's stunning. I love her. And I can't. So we did see all of the well, not all, but the contestants we followed through the season. At the end of after the altar. I'm all over the place. At the end of the finale, we do the, like, everyone reflects on their time and go through everybody. And we saw Taylor and JP. That segment doesn't do much. It just kind of reminds me, like, oh yeah, they were there. But I was happy to see her again. I was not happy to see him again. And he did not even acknowledge how horribly he handled everything. He's just like, oh, my inability to open up. It's like, sure guy. And yeah, all in all, this couple was sad. And was so uncomfortable. Like, their scenes in Mexico were just like forcing it. Like, forcing nicknames on each other, the sugar butt thing. It was too much. And I'm so glad they didn't make it. I'm so glad she returned the ring. She even said on the finale, like, I kind of regret not trying to go through with it and meeting his family. And I'm like, no regrets, please. We're good. I have not seen those TikToks. Okay. That's Taylor and JP. There's not much to say about them. I don't like Flagman. He's my worst enemy on this season. And I wish the best for Taylor, because she's lovely. Okay. Now, Uche and Aaliyah, who weren't really a couple ever. I don't think they were ever a couple. They were just talking in the pods. And these two were sad because Uche was his own freaking mess this season. He is so condescending. It was kind of funny, but it was messed up, you know. He's just so obnoxious, condescending, trying to smear Lydia's name, trying to break up her relationship, trying to, like, talk Milton out of being with Lydia, yelling at Miriam, being mad Stacy and Johnie took attention from him. Uche was just such a character this season. And poor Aaliyah just kind of got caught in the crossfire here. And she was so wishy-washy, though. I was like, girl, like, enough is enough. Cut your losses. Just let it go. Like, I don't know. Someone likes Uche in the chat. I liked him at first. He seemed very emotionally intelligent. He's, like, kind of artsy and sensitive. Sometimes these artsy boys are the most dangerous, though. But him and Aaliyah, I do remember I was like, oh, they have so much in common. They seem so good for each other. And then he comes up with the cheater thing and, like, oh, you're a recent cheater. And that whole conversation and making her feel bad when he cheated before, he admitted, and allegedly cheated on Lydia. We don't know how 100% we can trust that, but it is sus, to say the least. Uche, he's gonna bring his A game to the reunion, I feel like. But yeah, I was definitely turned off by, like Maggie says, him always trying to lecture. That's how it felt. Like, he wasn't yelling at first, like, until he got to yelling, but he just always trying to lecture everybody in some form or fashion and, like, turn them into, like, impose, like, his values on them a lot. And you really see that with Milton because he pushes back so much, so you can really see his, like, manipulative statements that he tries. Like, he's, like, trying to get Milton to arrive at, like, oh, you and Lydia aren't good together. But Milton just swerves it, so it didn't work. The Miriam fight. Miriam's not in the PowerPoint, but we'll remember Miriam for her skincare. Someone in my last video commented that the skincare is body butters. I'm not sure if y'all can confirm. I haven't seen a source, but I also didn't like seek her out on social media. Yeah, Uche, Uche at the reunion is gonna be like judging everybody and giving his 2 cents on everyone's drama. It is messy, the Lydia thing, and we still don't have the answer of, who applied first, whatever, or if they knew. But it's sad that both their experiments got tainted by them knowing each other, and Uche didn't have the chance with Aaliyah. But I think she dodged a bullet, to be honest. Miriam did a TikTok and was vague and gave MLM vibe. See, there's some reason why she's being, like, quiet about it. It's something. So he has his reflection. She had another reflection. This was just from the lunch they had, the confrontation. But yeah. The couple that never was, Uche and Aaliyah. Izzy's in an MLM too? How many? I bet it's so easy to get into MLMs when you're like a small influencer, like this type of like reality TV celebrity, because you have like just enough people to like earn you enough money. I don't know. Yeah, maybe Uche will have his redemption. Maybe any of these people that really didn't come off great. I mean, that's what I'm saying with these disclaimers at the beginning. I'm like, these people get so much hate. They probably have to do some reflecting, in some form or fashion. Like, they are getting bombarded, I'm sure, with, people nitpicking every single second they were on the show. We got some team Uche in the chat for the stalking. The Lydia stuff with Aaliyah was shady. It's hard to remember kind of because Lydia had her love story and she's our one successful couple. But she was really weird about like the comforting Aaliyah stuff and like not respecting that Aaliyah didn't want to know about Uche and like smothering her. Aaliyah mentioned Lydia smothered her. Oh yeah, Uche is another one who is gonna jump to do perfect match, to how to handle anything he can do. He's gonna do it, I feel like. The perfect match, I think. Maybe even ultimatum. He'll make his way over there. Okay, let's move on from that drama to Johnie and Chris, who are a couple actually, that did not get engaged. And I think rumor has it they're not together anymore, but we'll probably see at the reunion. She's teased to be on it, or I've seen her in the promos for a reunion, so she'll be there, I think, or they will be there. And yeah, I feel like they're a good couple. Johnie was a punching bag a lot of the season. She did. I mean, where are y'all at? Let's do another poll. Where are y'all at with Johnie? That's an interesting one, because she was a very polarizing at first, but I feel like people came around to her. Feelings on Johnie. And also, like, do y'all think she was two-faced, or was she keeping it real and just like how do I say it, like made a mistake or misread her own feelings for Izzy on Johnie? Like, I don't trust her kind of vibes. That's if you think she was two-faced and can't really come back from that. She never lied to anyone. I was gonna go back and watch the episode and like grab screenshots, but I ran out of time. Sorry, y'all. She made mistakes. Okay, these options are... Wait, did I... I'm making my options too wordy. Surprise, surprise. Okay. Started the poll. Johnie and Chris. It's easy to judge her on how she dealt with Izzy and Chris because it's public. However, people do get into situations where they are interested in more than one person. That's the thing with Johnie. I realized going through it, especially when I was reminded about Izzy's previous engagement, that like she revealed a lot about herself, and we got to judge all that. And she, kind of had a difficult past with relationships, was married before. It kind of seemed, I think I saw somewhere in a comment or Reddit or somewhere, that like it kind of felt like that first husband, she said, was the only person she'd ever loved, that struggled with drug addiction. He kind of was like the Izzy vibe. And then the husband she had, that I guess was more safe but more boring, sounded more like Chris. And it's kind of like she had tried both options in her past, and it was kind of unclear what direction she would go. I thought that was interesting. I wonder if Johnie liked the competition. Izzy was a top contender for a lot of the girls, and that messed up her focus. That's an interesting theory, that she figured he was maybe better because everyone was into Izzy. That's an interesting theory. Chris seems like a good judge of character. Yeah, Chris is one of these men. We didn't see him too much because we didn't follow him, but he was, for the men, given the pool we had, seemed really nice. Clicked on an answer by mistake. Hopefully we have enough. I mean, we don't have a huge sample size here, but that's okay. Johnie was giving self-sabotage. Yeah. Being real. She kept it real about having to make it up to Chris. The airport thing was very like, wait, what happened there? I'm still not clear, but they somehow ran into each other at the airport. And yeah, like, I do think, like, I feel like I judged her in that first batch of episodes, but, you know, once she's with Chris happily, Izzy's happily with Stacy, it's kind of like, well, it worked out, you know. And they seemed happier than Izzy and Stacy, who just bullied her. That was a big moment, I feel like, unfortunately for Johnie, that they bullied her so bad. Like, I don't know, I feel like have we ever seen, try to remember other fights in Love is Blind, but have we seen people just be like, you're a shit person, like, to someone's face? That seems like, Irina wouldn't do that. Irina is super nice to your face and might talk shit about you behind your back. Except Zach, I guess. She bullied Zach. Yeah, and definitely seeing Johnie as the victim of bullying felt like, I think, gave a lot of us compassion for her too, because it wasn't that serious. Like people need to chill, and Izzy acting like, oh, Chris, my, you know, long lost soul brother that I want to protect at all costs. It's like, you just met him, you don't even know the guy. Chris is a cleaner version of Charlie Kelly in Always Sunny. I do feel, it's funny you say that. I don't watch that show, so I'm not quite sure. I can kind of picture the guys on it, but I feel his voice sounds like a sitcom character or something, like even like an older sitcom or something. Maybe it's someone specific I'm thinking of, but I can't place it. Something about Chris's voice, it's like kind of nerdy, but like, I mean, that's a compliment. Like it sounds like a guy in a sitcom or something. They did that to Cole at the reunion. I'm assuming you're talking about, like, everyone had compassion for him because, everyone bullied him, right? Everyone called him a shit person, basically. And I think it had the same effect where it, like, redeemed him to a lot of people, because there's rarely a reason to go, like, that hard on somebody, I feel like, especially when it's matters of the heart and, like, complicated relationships. Like, maybe the only person that might have deserved that was someone like Shake, who, like, first of all, can't handle it, and he probably would call you a shit person back, but he's just very unapologetic about being a villain. But there's not many of those people. Most people don't want to be a villain. Izzy kept pushing her to pick him. Chris reminds me of a young Paul Rudd. I'm sure he would love to hear that. But yeah, Chris seemed like a nice guy. I do wish them the best, but I think they're not together. I'm not sure. We'll see. He also had he had like a strong presence of a different woman on his social media. The timeline is very unclear. Not like very unclear as in like definitely suspicious. It's not suspicious necessarily. But all around in this cast, it sounded like a lot of people had like long-term relationships, either right before, right after the season. People even theorize like during the season. I don't know. I don't think we've confirmed any of that, but he was pretty public on his Instagram with like just another woman, and maybe recently too. I'm not quite sure. And that's why people don't think they're together. Yeah, we just saw Johnie. We saw Chris. They gave their little reflections. Okay. So those were the people on camera. Now we get to the people behind the curtain that we did not see. And it is tragic because we love Renee, of course. So Renee and Carter were the other couple that made it all the way to the altar, and we did not see them at all. They completely cut them out. They tried to engineer that wedding dress and suit try-on to pretend they do not see them. And okay, so there's a lot of theories But Renee has spoken a bit about what happened. And, like, yeah, part of me is like, I agree, Kim. Part of me is glad we didn't see them because I worry. I don't want to see Carter, really, because he seems scary. I mean, we don't know too much about him. We know he loves JP, and I feel like that's enough for me to be like, okay, no. I don't like him. But Renee was such a dime. I don't know. She's just so funny on social media. I've already talked a lot about her in my other videos. But okay, so the story is that at the wedding dress try-ons, Stacy told her that Carter brought another woman to their apartment, their shared apartment. And the way Stacy found out is that Stacy and Izzy were filming, like, at the pool of the apartments, and Carter came up with the mystery woman. And so Stacy told Renee at the wedding dress try-ons. Oh, these are her funny social media. I've already shown that. And here's the evidence, by the way, that she was at the wedding dress try-on. She has a jacket and everything. This is from her Instagram. But yeah, so he brought another woman. That, I think, was like the main issue. And there's also a lot of rumors that, like, Carter made threats to, like, the production about airing it. That one kind of seems like rumors. I don't know. I don't know how much to believe. But yeah, we don't quite know the full story. And she is teasing, I think now she's teasing next Wednesday. She will tell the full story. That's the current status. And it's sad because she's not going to be at the reunion, obviously. Or not obviously. I don't know. It dawned on me today when she mentioned somewhere on her socials, like, she will tell the full story on Wednesday. And I was like, wait, why can't she tell the story at the reunion? And it's like, oh, because she's not even part of the reunion. And yeah, when I go look at Netflix reunion post, she's nowhere to be found. So she's not at the reunion, which is tragic because it's like the story we're most curious about because we have the least information about it. And yeah, so the other speculation is that Renee was in a relationship, a long-term relationship, because pretty close after the experiment ended, she did get married. So she is married now. And there's an article she got interviewed for where she denies this speculation, this theory, and just mentions that, like, it was filmed just a long time ago and that she wasn't in a relationship during Love is Blind. So she has said that. I don't think we've heard much of anything from Carter. And also she did talk about how she was notified that she was going to be cut out of the show. And it was just kind of shady from the producer side. Like, they were like, oh, your love story is not going to be so much of a focus. And it's like, they completely erased her from the season. It's not, I can just imagine the producers just trying to, like, soften the blow, but it's just so awkward when you're followed that much and, like, your family's involved. You went through all this. But it seems like something really shady happened with them. They did make it to the altar, and she's the one that said no, she said. But it's just, I'm also confused about, like, what's going on with the NDA situation this season, because it is just kind of like the floodgates are open, and Renee's loving her 15 minutes. Yeah, I mean, she does seem like the type that's there to influence. I think she is really funny and she has that charisma. She is a vet though, and seems to care a lot about animals. So I feel like, I don't know if she's fully gonna do influencing or whatever. She has this like at least she can do some good with the platform. I feel like encouraging, fostering or adopting type of stuff. But yeah, this season is very clout chasey, I feel like. And yeah, I guess they did show her a lot in the group scenes. I mean, I think it was more that she was just there and they had to, I guess. But yeah, maybe it's a way. She was a lot in the pods. So it might be a way to compensate. But yeah, I liked Renee a lot. I follow her on Instagram. She's the second Love is Blind contestant I followed on Instagram. The first was Bliss. I still follow her. I don't want to get bogged down because I'm already like, I love Drag Race, I love Survivor, and for Drag Race, I follow a lot of the queens. For Survivor, I follow a few contestants, and you can just get bogged down if you start following like everyone. So I just pick and choose. I'm picky with my trying to curate my feed here. Oh, there's an Instagram reel. She basically explained what I said though. Let's see. I don't know if y'all want to watch this. You probably won't be able to. Let me turn it up a little bit. You won't be able to see it very well, but it's just like a podcast, virtual podcast. Not that interesting visually. Hopefully I don't get...
So we did go to the altar. What had happened between those time periods was that I found out that Carter had taken a woman back to our apartment while I wasn't there. Oh. And so that all like happiness was just like gone for me. Like I was so upset and just, I felt like embarrassed, like a fool for have even tried to be nice and like trying to make the best out of it, which is like, of course.
How did you find out?
I was sad. When we were picking up our dresses, Stacy told me.
This is the evidence.
Carter had brought a girl to the apartment and went up to the pool that was on the roof, and Stacy was there filming with Izzy. So they all saw.
So yeah, that was just her explaining in her own words. And yeah, it is a little maybe sus that she chose Carter. That's why I'm like, this couple is so like enigmatic and mysterious, and we want to know, but it's like the couple we have no information on, so it's very frustrating because they're obviously there, so it's annoying. So this is another couple apparently that got engaged. I do not believe they made it to the altar. Oh, I'm definitely watching Survivor 45. Love Survivor. I'm obsessed. I don't talk about it on my channel because it's like off brand a little bit, but Survivor is everything. Okay. So this is Paige and Josh. And they were in the pods, a few scenes here and there. But apparently they got engaged. I don't know if y'all know more tea on them, put it in the chat, but I don't know. They're just mysterious. I don't think they made it that far because they weren't like cut out of a lot of scenes. They weren't even in like the party scene. Yeah, they weren't at the party scene where they had the big fight. So who knows what happened with them. But there are 4 total engaged couples that we didn't see. That's why I keep saying 3 we did see. So that's 7 total. 1 is Renee and Carter. Oh, we already saw them. The other is Paige and Josh. And then there's Estefania. And I don't know who. I couldn't find it last minute. I don't know if it's out there. But I think Estefania was the 3rd couple. And if y'all know the boy, y'all might know the boy. It might be information out there. But yeah, kind of crazy. These couples will never know. I think Renee and Carter are the most interesting because their presence is clearly there. And I don't know what happened with these ones. I do think one of these couples, allegedly, it might have been this one, Paige and Josh, they like dated for a while after the pods. So they were like confused why they got cut. Whole four couples. And then for the last couple, we're going to get a tad serious. well, let me just finish up this poll since we have a poll going. I agree with the majority here. It's our final feelings on Johnie. And maybe even there was like a misvote. But she made mistakes, but is redeemed. I definitely agree with that majority. Because I do think she was a little contradictory, but she was sorting out a lot of feelings. Like someone said, it's something people do in private a lot of the time. And then 26% appreciated her and her journey. 24% still don't trust her. And 8% say she never lied to anyone. So that's another like kind of positive, like it lumps in. 3 of these are positive, and it's like the 75% majority. Oh, okay. So Estefania's guy is the guy that girls say is too small. I don't remember his face that well, but I remember at the beginning he's like, girls say I'm too small, and then Vanessa's like, they say that, and he's like, no, but I think that's what they think. I don't know, something like that. Was it Jared maybe? I'm scrolling through, but yeah, so Stefania and maybe Jared, whoever that guy was. And okay, so yeah, I think Johnie had her redemption, and it's normal to be confused in the pods, I think. Yes, he had glasses. Okay, that's Jared, I think. Sorry, I don't know how to show y'all without doxing myself here. It's such a puzzle. Here, this is what the guy looks like. Okay, so, we're moving to a little bit more serious, but it's important to touch on. I don't know if Connor got with anybody, unless he got with Estefania. But Connor apparently went to college with me and my friends here. But I didn't know him myself. Okay, so this is important to touch on, and it's the lawsuit stuff. If y'all have heard of it, y'all might have heard of it because it's kind of big news that Love is Blind has like an active lawsuit against it, maybe multiple. I don't know what happened with like Nick, if he did a lawsuit, if he settled, if it's still going. I'm not quite sure. Oh, interesting. I just found out how to insert an ad. Sorry. I won't do that just now, but yeah, so trigger warning for maybe talk of sexual assault. I'll call it SA from now on because YouTube can demonetize you for talking about that stuff. And I won't go too into detail. I mean, I'm a TV show recapper, not a therapist or a lawyer, which are, I think, the 2 professions that are applicable here. But yeah, so there is a lawsuit going on about the 4th engaged couple that we didn't see at all. We didn't see them in the pods. They were completely edited out because of the lawsuit. I mean, you don't want to risk anything, you know. So they're very much wiped from the season. And there's just a lawsuit from the woman in the relationship alleging that she was sexually assaulted, essayed on the show in Mexico in the honeymoon stage. So this is kind of an important moment for Love is Blind. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Some people are calling for Love is Blind to be canceled for something like this, and we don't know too much. I would recommend reading the article. I can link it in the description, but I think it's just so tricky when, you know, these people get engaged sight unseen, and then there's this expectation afterwards they have to be like physically intimate right away, especially in the US season compared to something like the Japan season where the couples are way more tentative. So she alleges that, you know, she was pressured by production to, you know, have relations with her fiance and pressured by him as well. And I just feel like this show creates just like this perfect situation for someone to take advantage of somebody, because you're just expected to be intimate so fast with a total stranger. And I feel like it gets very muddy. I don't know. And yeah, I think a big moral of the story is just like there needs to be more protections. It's tricky with reality TV because like the genre was basically invented to be very cheap and easy. And so calling for protections feels like the antithesis of what reality TV is all about. And I feel like that's why reality TV contestants don't have protections. They're not union protected at all. So it's very sad, very tragic. They just take advantage of people wanting fame, wanting a novelty experience, wanting marriage, all these things. And reality TV has been exploitative. Like, that's literally why it was created. And it's always so interesting why reality TV is so successful. It's like, it's just such a... I love reality TV. I love studying its history. And it's crazy how exploitative it is, because a lot of like the foundation of reality TV was about putting people of like different backgrounds together and seeing like what conflicts arise. So in early reality TV, I mean probably still now, but you see a lot of like putting a gay person on a TV show with a bunch of homophobic people. See how it, like, I'm thinking of these shows like The Real World, Survivor, where, or they put like racist rural people with like black people, and that's how you make like organic real conflict for an interesting reality show. And I always find it so interesting how it's like exploiting those groups, right, putting them in these situations, but at the same time it like provides visibility for these people that's really accessible. So like someone can see, you know, a gay person on Survivor and like identify with them, and like that representation is good. So it's like this back and forth of like, it's so exploitative, but in some ways it has helped people feel represented by them casting, like, basically by reality TV forces diversity for conflict reasons, but then the good parts of diversity still come through and impact people. And it's very interesting. And yeah, for me, Top Model was my introduction to reality TV and like my first love, one of my favorite shows. Very controversial, obviously. But it was like the first time I saw, you know, trans people or gay people, and it also like showed me different cultures because they go to all these places, and at the same time Top Model does a lot of really bad things, but it helped me to like, I don't know, diversify my world without leaving my room where I was stuck, you know, as a kid. So it's very interesting, and it's kind of definitely a big tangent, and it's sad that Love is Blind has come to this. I think it just goes, I'm just trying to say, like, reality TV is built on like exploiting people, and that's why calling for protections now, it feels so like difficult to like climb that mountain. But hopefully we do make steps, and I think already people are trying. There's talks of like unionizing, even with how visible the unions have been. So there's not no hope, but it's hard when reality TV is exploitative by nature, and it's about putting people at their worst for entertainment. And it just made the perfect storm for this poor woman victim who was assaulted, and is sad. I don't think it'll be the end of Love is Blind. I imagine this will play out in the courts, in the legal system. Maybe she'll settle. Not sure, but these are companies with a lot of money behind them. A big franchise here now. It's a big IP. But hopefully it just leads to more protections, like the way they're showing the food now. Maybe in future seasons, they'll be a lot more careful about the intimacy stuff. That's what we can hope. And I think they will, because they are scared of lawsuits. If they're scared of anything, I think it is being sued. So, yeah, sad note. We'll go back to talking about the show, but it's important to talk about because it's a lawsuit about this season, and it's important to be aware. There are things happening behind the scenes that are big. Top Model reboot. I don't know. I would love a Top Model reboot, but we'll see. I don't think so, but imagine. It'd be kind of cool to do a modern take on it. I would watch it for sure. But yeah, that is the season. A difficult season, a weird one. And someone mentioned, like, I wish they showed more couples since only 2 made it, especially with knowing a third made it to the altar. It's kind of weird that they showed Taylor and JP, but didn't show the Renee and Carter relationship that made it to the altar. Seems like really shady stuff going on. I don't know if there were threats. I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if Renee was in a relationship, if Carter did bring a woman and cheated with cameras everywhere, like y'all said. Top model with RuPaul. Drag Race is really filling the top model role in modern times, I think. Drag Race is the way I love top model. Like, Drag Race is that for me now, and I'm obsessed with Drag Race. But yeah, sad season, or not sad, but we got one couple out of it. I'm shocked, but we did it, and we didn't have no couples. We all said there would be no couples. But Lydia, that's their couple name. Milton and Lydia made it. And yeah, I'm wondering, how does this season rank? Let me see. Let's do a final poll, and I still have one more segment. But let's do a final poll of how do you rank season 5? I feel like I know the answer, but let's see. We only have I'm gonna start at number 5 season. Number 2, 3, 4. Okay. Assuming it's not your number 1 choice, we're gonna assume that. I'm just putting like numbers. So if you rank it number 2 out of 5, this isn't like a stars thing. It's like out of the 5 seasons of Love is Blind, where do you rank it? 5 being the worst, 2nd being the closest to. If it's number 1 or 2, just pick number 2. But is it the worst season? I think season 2 was pretty bad, and just that it was so boring. That maybe I'm between. I don't know. But this one is so. Ugh. It's been rough. Hello, Australia. Yeah, I'm between 4 and 5, but I'm probably like just remembering season 2 as bad. And if I compared it to this, maybe it's not as bad. It wasn't bad, it was just boring. But that's always, I think, my lowest ranked. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to percolate. Maybe after the reunion, I can say if season 5 is number 5 for me. Some people are ranking it number 3 or 4. I think it's fair. Some people like the mess, even if it's really messy. Nobody, 0% number 2 though. Okay, let's just finish it off with a fashion photo review of the reunion looks coming up on Sunday. The season exposes to JP, number 5 for sure. You're right, honestly. I should be number 5 for me, just on that alone. Okay, Miss Taylor, serving, vision in gold, love her, full beat, it's perfect. I love it. I love it. She's a glamour girl, and like the shape, the thingy here is fierce. I love her. And these are from Netflix Instagram. They posted the women's reunion looks. I haven't seen the men's, but I don't care, to be honest. Love Taylor. What a gem. Okay, Lydia. Lydia's always has the boobs out. I don't even know. I'm like scared. I'm like trying to cover it as if that does anything for y'all. I don't want to get demonetized. But, you know, Lydia loves a low cut. And something about this dress is kind of giving revenge dress, so not giving me much hope for her and Milton, but could just be coincidence and she just thought she looked good. But Lydia, I barely recognized her at first because I think her hair is darker and straight. I was like, who's that? But yeah, she got the slit, low cut, fierce. The women served at the reunion. Aaliyah, love her. She's so gorgeous. She's so gorgeous. Kind of giving glamorous toga vibes. But her hair's gorgeous. It's just so. She's so pretty. I wish we saw Lydia giving, yeah, little Divorce Prada from that one scene where she's at the party. Yeah, Aaliyah's just gorgeous. She looks like a Barbie. Stacy, I don't know what she was doing. She looks great, but like that dress hanging on by a thread at the hip. Like, this is risque. But I appreciate how daring it is. It's bold. She's very fit, so she's showing off her muscles, her abs. And good for her. Good for her. Also kind of revenge vibes, with how much skin she's showing. But yeah, love the deep red. I wonder if her, I can't really tell if her makeup is different. I think we'll see at the reunion. She stole Irina's top. She had a top like that, right? Yeah, she's showing the Pilates. You're right. Showing the Pilates. Good for her. And then Johnie giving very like wife of a Republican, but she's still serving. Kind of a Cinderella color here. Powder blue. The hair extensions are extensioning. And yeah, I think it's a very pretty dress. Love the sequins. The eyebrows, let's see. Yeah, her eyebrows are a little more subtle. You're right. I think she softened it up. I think she saw the show and was like, ooh, ooh. I still think the dress is pretty. She just looks conservative for whatever reason. But good for her. It's good she made it onto the reunion because she could have been cut, I feel like. Because she wasn't in the show that much. Aaliyah too could have been cut. But I guess we did follow all of them. So we're going to see all of them at the reunion. That's right. Johnny's like always in blue. That's a good point. I didn't even recognize the pattern, but yeah, Johnie clearly has a favorite color. This is like her signature, I feel like. But it's very glamorous. I love how it's like decked out, bedazzled it is. Okay, let's talk about reunion plans and start wrapping up. I have appreciated y'all being here and chatting. I love the live component. I mean, it's hard sometimes to keep up with y'all's chats, but it's so fun. I love hearing from y'all. And yeah, so we're going to be back here in 2 nights if you're available. Reunion airs at 7 p.m. Central Time. Renee won't be at the reunion as far as I know. She didn't have a look on the Instagram. And yeah, but Johnie will be there. And yeah, I thought she'd be more of a focus from the teaser. She was our teaser queen. I thought she'd be like the main character. But yeah, so we're going to be here at the reunion. I'm just going to watch the show on my screen here, and let me come back. I'm going to watch the show, like, just my face here. No footage, no audio for y'all. So sorry. But, and then once the reunion, because it's live, so it'll be in real time. The only issue, if you wanted to watch, like, alongside me, like, have your Netflix on your TV and then have your phone with me on it, is that there is a bit of a delay with live streaming in general. So it might not work out for me to give my reactions in real time, like just facial expressions, because I don't plan to be like talking through a lot of the reunion. Just literally reacting quietly to myself, but on camera, on stream. Confusing. But right after it ends, you can just tune in and come in, and then we can discuss. So whether you want to have me on in the background or not, I don't know how well it would work regardless. Don't worry about that part so much. And I'll also put like timestamps in the VOD if you can't make it, for like when that hour ends that I'm watching and start the discussion. I think that's kind of the best way, just because it feels like chaotic for me to set up all this after watching the live reunion. It's just easier for me to be set up, be here with y'all, and watch. But yeah, so I'll be here for the reunion in 2 days, and this video will be available on my channel. I'll put timestamps too. And same for the reunion. It's annoying a little bit for me, not gonna lie, but it's okay. I'm happy to be here and happy that it's not a live reunion, and I just hope I can get in, because last time I watched the reunion on a TikTok, like a shitty, like just TikTok filming the reunion literally, so that was not ideal, and I was pretty upset. So hopefully Netflix just has a bandwidth to like handle us being on it, but if it does, I'll be here, and if y'all can join, that'd be great, and we can chat. My reactions might be a little delayed during the premiere, but we'll chat after regardless. And then after that, we can, like next week, end of next week-ish, I haven't set a date yet, we'll be continuing the Love is Blind mobile game. I know games aren't for everybody, so it's a bit of a different change of pace, but it's been fun, and part 1 was really fun, and I got my mic working better now, hopefully. So we're just going to continue our own pod journey and love story next week. That's the plan. And yeah, please like the stream if you enjoyed. Subscribe to my channel. Did it work? No, it didn't. I thought I had a subscribe thing, but it's gone. And follow me at Miscellaneous. I think it's under the chat, actually. There it is. Subscribe if that's your vibe. But thanks so much for being here. It's been so fun. Oh yeah, Golden Bachelor. I do want to talk about it at some point. It's just Love is Blind has been in the way. I think after Sunday, or maybe Sunday, I'll give it some thought this weekend, and Sunday I'll try to announce, like, I kind of want to do a regular live stream schedule, and also somewhere at some point make videos. Golden Bachelor, I think I definitely want to make a regular video on, but I might want to do a live stream at some point. I just haven't set it up yet or set a date. I'm keeping up with it on Hulu. I haven't watched yesterday's episode because I was so busy. But I will after this stream. And yeah, definitely I'll make a video at some point for Golden Bachelor. I'm just not sure if I should wait for like the season to end or be closer to finished. But yeah, that's kind of the plan generally. I'll see y'all Sunday, so hopefully I'll give things more thought by then. And yeah, thanks so much for being here. Y'all are awesome. Hope you have a good weekend. Hope you had a good Friday night. Thanks for spending it with me. I'll see you later. Let's toast to the end of the season with whatever cup emoji you can find. I have my little gold cups because I created that emoji, but you have to pay for it. So just any cups. Let's toast. Find a cup, a teacup, a coffee cup, a soda. I don't know what emojis are there. There's a drink. I see it. To a messy, messy season. We did it. Yes, those are good cups. That one looks close enough. That's like, it has like champagne in it. Perfect. Toast to a messy season. We're out the other end. We'll see how this reunion goes. Appreciate y'all. Is love blind? I don't think so. We learn time and time again on this show. Yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.